Ahuja, who is currently working and writing about fashion and art, and is doing art. So, Monica, why don't you give us a brief synopsis of your career?
Sure. Johan, I am a designer by profession and also an artist. And I started off my career as a copywriter because I had chosen subjects like literature. I did my honors in literature and I did a short course in communication and journalism. So that kind of opened my doors into writing. And when I traveled, I approached a couple of publications in the Middle East and started writing. I got my own columns to write, and I got to write on fashion, mainly fashion. So I used to write on fashion in the Middle East, and then I traveled further. I moved to Europe, Eastern Europe. I went to Prague, and that's when I used to write sitting in Prague for the Middle East on fashion. Then I started writing on travel. Then I started writing more about art because the exposure that you get when you live in a place as beautiful as Prague is very art oriented. So you get exposure into galleries, architecture, all of those things. So that exposure and experience in fashion and writing brought me to Dubai. And when I came to Dubai, I found an opportunity to do something more to do with fashion. There was there was there wasn't bespoke clothing like which was hand painted and which was which would cater to plus size women. So that is when I started doing my entire collection on hand painted clothes, and that took off really well. First, I used to supply to a couple of five-star hotels and boutiques, and it was a pretty good business because there wasn't anything like what I was offering. Hand painted clothes, catering to women of all different sizes, mainly plus sizes. And again, at the same time, there was a lot of styling that was going into the clothes. It was all about catering to women who wanted to feel confident wearing clothes which they could not get sizes of. So that was a good niche for me to get into. It was very important to uh, uh, basically get into a market at that time doing things which were not available. But that's when I realized that I loved painting and started painting uh, uh, I mean, I used to get customized orders for art. And that's when I forayed into art very naturally. Started painting for boutiques, for shops, for homes, and did art, which was something like someone would ask me that can you create a piece for us which is about 10 feet by 10 feet, and we have something in mind. Can you keep that in mind and paint something for us? Like we want Buddha and we want a Shiva combination, and we want something which is a little surrealistic in nature. So we would take all those inputs and create art for them that they wanted. So that is where I gained popularity, where art is concerned. So I started catering to what people wanted in terms of art. So that would be like a short synopsis, I mean, in short, about my career.
All right. So, how do you think that startups and technology will impact your line of business in the future?
Okay. See, technology helps us in many ways. And in my case, it helped me with uh, getting popular. So I used social media to help me that way. And also manage my operations. 10 years ago, I was sitting in the Middle East and I had my operations in India, and that's how I was working. That's that many years ago. So I was operating simple things like and intricate things like measurements, matching, coloring, colors of fabrics. It's not very easy to do that sitting so far away, but I managed to do it. So in the future, if we are talking about technology and fashion, there are lots of things. Measurements and sizing becomes a lot easier with technology because there are lots of ways of like we don't ever get to know the exact size of a person, but with the help of technology, suppose a person is in a, let's say, in a boutique or a shop, and you just take the imaging, you get to know the sizing of the person to the closest millimeter. So that really helps you in terms of sizing and measurements where technology is concerned. And also it would help in, I guess, getting information. Like there are these multi-branded stores like and chains. There are chains like H&M and Zara. They have a lot of data. So all this data also helps in finding out what the consumers really want and then catering to that. All this information, data, consumer choices, what they like, what they don't like, feedback helps further in creating a line or creating collections which cater to the people's liking, as in whatever they like, to be more successful. So technology helps that way. Technology helps with, as I said, there's a lot of 3D printing which happens now. So there are a lot of embellishments and materials which are all 3D printed, and bags and accessories. They can be used in fashion um, very well.
All right. So, what advice do you have for someone who looks to write about fashion and create art in the future?
Writing about fashion, you need to be passionate about it. As I said, without passion, you cannot continue and pursue any career. But together with that, you need to have a lot of knowledge and education. You need to keep upping your skills. You need to keep taking up courses, finding out more about whatever is the latest. Everything is going digital. So if you are interested in art, look at the digital side of it. If you're looking at writing, great. I mean, it depends on what you want to write about. If you want to write about fashion, um, then that is what you need to study for. I wouldn't be able to advise much on writing on fashion, um, uh, as in if you want to write on fashion, I guess the course is you to keep upgrading yourself. That's
All
all I
right.
could say. Like,
All right. So, how do you measure success?
success for me would be if you are happy doing what you're doing, and the bank balance, of course. If you have reached your goals, and if it has resulted in um, a good bank balance so that you can buy the things that you want and stay happy.
All right.
Simple.
All right. So, thank you, Monica. Thank you for your time.
Most welcome.